Well,
Or stop the closed ones so they end up being different segments.
okay, that's good.
So the council meeting is still going. It's now public again.
Thanks a moment to that.
Okay. That's true. In the meantime, we did just have a long discussion. We have some suggestions that are going to be tallied up by the consultant and sent to you guys. So we're not going to be having any questions for you tonight because you obviously haven't seen the suggestions that we've made. So we want you to have time to see all of that and formulate your responses. Don't want to catch you off guard or anything. At this point, the only question is just if there's anyone that wishes to speak from the public.
But thank you.
Is there any comments from the public at this point? As I was telling them, our discussion, we had several suggestions that will be sent to you guys. But you obviously haven't heard them, so we don't want to catch you off guard. We'll give you time to formulate your responses and everything. So they're going to tally it up, make it concise, and send it to you.
Okay.
So basically, this is just the end of the council meeting. If there's anyone that wishes to say anything, you can. If not, then we'll conclude. Going once, going twice.
So we got a word of the airport?
We'll take it up at our next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if there's no one from the public wanting to speak, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
And you have someone from the public that wanted to speak
Is there someone from the public wishing to speak?
about this issue? No, but
Any issue? Yeah, come up. We can get you to come to the microphone. Give your name and address, please.
My name is Marvin Alvarez. I'm from Miami, Florida. The address is 13210 Southwest, 132nd Avenue, Suite number 5, Miami, Florida, 33186.
Yes, sir. What can we do for you?
May I pass this to Shirley?
Sure.
thank you.
Mr. Alvarez, so you want to fly some RC plane?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What can we do for you?
So I want to thank everybody as well. It's been fun. So like I said, my name is Marvin. I live in Miami. I'm also a veteran of the Navy and also an FAA private pilot. I represent the radio control airplane community of model airplanes in many hobby RC branches, and I'm third generation in the hobby as well. So that's why you see a lot of my passion in it. And it's a pleasure to stand here and speak with you today, and very excited to get underway on the Southeast Jet Rally. This is the name that I have for now, to establish at the Avon Park Airport. And I would love to flourish with Avon Park City and institute events in the more near future to come here. And I'm asking here to permission to use the facility of the Avon Park Airport to create this model airplane event for December 8th to the 12th, 2021. So just tell a little bit about, really quick about the airplanes. They're anywhere from half scale to about 10 scale, ranging from $2,000 to about $60,000. Pilots ranges between 50 to 150 pilots that will attend the event depending on the facility, which Avon Park Airport will attract a lot of. Also, vendors can range from 10 to 30 vendors, food vendors, as well for spectators in the neighborhood cities. Pilots ranges from very young to their 80s, professionals veterans, teachers, commercial pilots, and so on. I have also been wanting to create in our hobby a possible event that's called a Hobby and Expo Swap Meet. There is one actually up north in New Jersey, and I've been wanting to bring it down here to the South Florida area. This is where the vendors will come and show their newest products, which is obviously a separate event on its own. I've been in charge of a couple of clubs in the South area. I'm also a vice president to one of the clubs in Miami. Currently, I am. I've been participating in a lot of events, worked with a lot of events. One of the two events that are here in Florida is called Florida Jets and Top Gun. They're at the Lakeland Regional Airport. The area is getting really tight over there, and also Amazon is trying to buy all of the land. So Sun and Fun and this shows that happen sometime in the middle of the year are probably going to vanish throughout the time. I work at a flight line, which is up in Kentucky. That's one of the largest jet shows that we have pretty much in the world. We have about 150 to 200 pilots. I actually run the flight line with the airplanes that are coming in to land. So I have a lot of knowledge on how to handle that, which is one of the questions that was brought. How do we work model airplanes if we're going to be flying on the runway and you're going to be flying this model airplanes and you're going to be talking to pilots coming in through? So that's one of the questions that has been brought up, and that's one of the biggest knowledge that I have also as well, working at a real airport like this. This event means pilots, visitors, spectators, and attendees coming to a park will be filling Abrams, Park City hotels, restaurants, buy fuel, and other local businesses will take advantage as the event matures, and locals will enjoy a great show. And not only that, the surrounding cities will come down and enjoy the show as well. During December, also, we have a lot of snowbirds. I have a show in Miami, but it's getting really small, and it's time for me to move up. And a lot of the guys was like, I don't want to drive 8 hours down to Miami. So that's why I started looking.
When you say it gets really small, what do you mean by that? That the event is getting really small? or
No,
airport
the
is
venue. The venue, it's not an airport, it's actually an RC club. And I lose a lot of pilots because of that. That's one of the biggest reasons. And the second reason is because they don't want to drive 8 hours to Miami. But 4 hours, they're like, okay, we're there.
So I would just tell you that, I mean, the event sounds very interesting. We do have an event form that everybody fills out to have an event in the city. Obviously, there's requirements for insurance. I did see that you had the insurance covered in there. So there's some boxes that you got to check and all that. As far as the airport, I don't know that we've had anything like this at the airport in my recent memory. The questions I would have for it would just be, is it going to interfere with day-to-day business, et cetera, et cetera. So we would need the staff to basically give us those answers and let us know if it's going to conflict with anything. And we wouldn't expect you to expect the staff to have all of our answers right now, because they do normally have to fill out a form, then it goes to staff, then it comes to us. See?
Mayor, can I add something?
Sure.
He did fill out a form. He got with Danielle, took her out there.
Okay.
Danielle was completely against it. When I saw it, I agree with Danielle. They want to operate on the main
Main runway.
runway out there, as you see in here, and there's just, I thought the liability is way too huge for us. We don't have when I spoke to Marvin on the phone, I told him maybe in the future, if it works out with FAM or somebody else, we'd have somebody out there that, I mean, we'd have to check in with FA and that. I'll let Danielle add some more because she actually met them out.
It's not so much that I'm against the actual event. I actually think it's a pretty cool idea to have his model planes out there. I actually saw one of his planes back in his trailer. My issue is with the runway. 523 is our primary runway, and they're asking to utilize that runway along with a taxiway that's going to require vehicles and trailers taxiing across the entire airfield. Then you're going to have spectators that are going to be within our zone that is within the runway that we have to keep clear. So my issue is with the runway itself, not so much the event. If we can station the event somewhere else at the airport that wouldn't interfere with the actual traffic, main runway.
It would almost be easier to close a section of road and use that as a runway.
Using the apron. I mean, the apron would be an somewhat of an ideal place to be able to, right along 64, set up the tents. You have that space there where you can run your model planes and stuff, but to actually use our primary runway, I wouldn't think would be good. And I have the vehicles and the trailers and the tents set up right there along that runway. I don't think it would be safe, and it would be a liability to the city.
Yeah, the tents will actually be next to the taxiway, not by the runway. The FAA does have a 75-foot mark where we need to have everything. And that's why just over Kentucky is done the same way. And that's what we've always done it. I just thought, that bringing it here would be also a good point. And, helping me to get a big event going and the city itself and all the surroundings to come and see an event like this.
I don't think anyone's against the event, it's just a matter of having a spot for it. It's not gonna interfere with the traffic that we have,
So looking at the airport, I see that you took a picture or the aerial of it. Are there any other areas on the airport to be done that aren't runway related?
How much runway do you need?
I mean, you'd
Okay,
have to
so
close the airport no matter what, right?
we wouldn't close the airport for any of this. I mean, everything will always be, we will be talking to the pilots and we will land all the model airplanes if in the air at a given time. And then the full scale airplanes can land. And that's how we work it out in Kentucky. 1,500 feet is the minimum that I would like for this to happen, because usually a lot of these airplanes, a lot of the guys land a little bit faster than usual, and 1,000 feet is just right on the dot. Lakeland, they have 700 feet, and it's just a disaster.
So how many spectators would you expect at something like this?
Well, as spectators, as you mean, as in the
People from the community
Oh.
wanting to come see?
we could have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, I tell you, I've spoken to Marvin, he had contacted the TDC, Casey Wall, it's scheduled the weekend before a huge event that's coming to Highlands County, where we're bringing in 14,000 to 15,000 people, so there's hotel and stuff. I looked at it from the economic development side, where it would fill up our hotels, restaurants, buy gas, go to Walmart, whatever, but aside from that, it would be a unique event for our community, because we've never had something like this. To me, if it's something that's feasible, it should be done. I think that just saying no because we don't, we're worried about something, you've got liability, we've got liability, you issue a NOTAM for those days. We've closed the airport before when we had runway rehab. Y'all have to do is check in with the FAA and see what's open and what's closed, But the only caveat is that we don't know where we're going to be with our current contract that we're working on with those people back there. So if this ended up being something that happens, I'm all for it, but it's going to be up to them at that point, because, they might come to us and say, what does the city think? I think it's a fabulous idea. I would love to see it. I've gone to the YouTube channels and looked at these things. Some of these airplanes are the size of my SUV, and I just think that they're just so cool. They're loud, and every little kid will come out and look at that, and nowhere else in Highlands County has this been done.
And that's one of the
I
things.
would come to this.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I'll give you a personal tour.
Marvin, we had someone in the back that wanted to speak. If you don't mind having them come up. Yeah. Yes, sir. You can come up to the microphone. Just give your name and address, please, or business you're associated with.
Hey, how you doing, council? My name is Casey Roberts. Address is 171 Lakeside Drive, Sanford, Florida, 32773. I just want to let you guys know that on our team, we do have a specialty. I actually do drone flying, part CFR 107, FAA requirements. So I understand what he's doing, what he's got going on. Just to let you know, your airport is an uncontrolled airspace airport. So the restrictions they have, the FAA does, a lot of times is concerned with controlled airspace. So with yours being uncontrolled, it's a lot easier for him to do this at your airport than any other place. Just like he's speaking about with Lakeland, Florida, and how they do Sun and Fun, they don't close that airport down. As a matter of fact, Amazon Prime, I was just there along with JT and several other individuals. They leave the runway open and just coordinate with the air boss to make sure that those flights get out and in on time. You guys don't even have exact times and locations, you don't have an Amazon Prime. So anybody you have coming in is normally recreational anyways. You don't have those types of flights. So for him to be able to do it at this airport, makes a lot of sense. And like she just stated, a NOTAM is very easy to put up. You can do that through the computer, let everybody know that it's happening, and then just make radio calls on CTAP to let everybody know that's happening. And then when they do it, another way to do it is with the AWOS, the weather automated service. You can actually put it to where it's continuous, and it tells everybody as they tune into the airport locally to find out what the PA is or any other information that comes with it. And so they're getting it before they even have to make a radio call. And obviously he knows what he's doing from Miami, so they're going to make sure to make the radio call before they even get up in the air to let them know, hey, within 3 nautical miles, we're doing this event here. So even if, we come to the point where we do get to take over the airport, and just letting you know, we do have qualifier individuals that know what to look for as far as registration on the aircraft themselves, because you have to put a placard on them. If it's above 400 AGL, you have to have a lot of information that goes along with it, the FAA requires. So we'd be able to work with him to make sure that the things are done correctly at the airport.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
And this is a 4-day event, right? The 8th?
Yes, 8 to the 12.
8 to the 12.
Most of the pilots will leave on Sunday, but I mean, they will get here definitely on Wednesday morning. Some of them will even make it out on Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just at the hotel until they can set up all the. And as you were saying, which is definitely very strong stuff. I also have a radio, so I'm always monitoring the radio and talking to pilots. They usually call about 5 miles, 10 miles, or whatever it is that they. Because I'm also a private pilot, so I understand what they're doing. So I tell them, okay, I got model airplanes. It's going to take me about 3 to 4 minutes to get everybody safely down. If they call which it has happened in just over Kentucky, I've had emergencies where guys say, I need to land right now. Obviously, if they call an emergency, it's a different scenario. But they tell me I need to land right now, then I have told my pilots, okay, can you land now? Or can you stay on the other side of the runway? Then they stay far and then the airplane lands. That's if it's an emergency, make sure I don't have this guy going, whatever could happen at the end. But I mean, the facility of, like you were saying, it is an airport that doesn't have a tower, and it's much easier for us to work with that.
Would you have, I'm getting the details and we don't even know if this is going to happen because we don't know where we're going to be. I'm very favorable for it. If the contract, if they decide that they don't like our suggestions to the contract and they walk away, I'd still like to do this. And that's just my sentiment on it. But if you did something like this, is there like open to the public or is there a cover charge? Is this a money maker for someone that you're going to take all that cash and haul out of town, or is it going to be some?
No, this is all going to be, I would also like to work with like the Boy Scouts. I like to donate the money to, obviously, whatever it is that we have to do to make sure that the city wins. Everybody's going to have to win. So it's not just me. I want the airport to win as well, the city and the surrounding cities and all the young people to learn about the model airplanes. Most of these commercial pilots have become pilots because they learn about a model airplane.
Don't we have a model airport?
Yes,
We do, but it's not paved, so they really can't do the
Yeah.
jet.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at that and I was like,
So how many of the pilots do you in your vision see flying in?
okay. So what happens is, to give you an idea, in Miami, we have 1,000-foot runway, grass. I actually do the maintenance, all the grass cutting and whatnot. I have about 52 pilots, but I have about another 30 to 40 pilots that they don't want to go down because it's too far, 8 hours flight, and they just don't want to fly on 1,000-foot runway. Something like this, I know I could get between 80 to 100 pilots. If it becomes, at least the first year might be 60 pilots, but once I make all the videos, as you have seen, and create more content on it, then the next year I should have at least 100 pilots. Especially the snowbirds will be like, oh, somewhere in Florida, they already come down here, or Georgia, most of the areas. So I'm expecting about 100 pilots. Or hopefully in the second year.
I'm all for it if we can make it work. I would just simply have questions for staff to check with the flying services that we have out there, just make sure they can get in and out, all that. And then security for all the people coming in and out. Typically we keep that facility secure. We don't just let anyone wander out there. So I don't know if that can be mitigated, but we can give it a shot.
Well, as I told Marvin, it wasn't a dead end thing. We're waiting to see if family gets it. If they get it, then they're gonna be out there and
I think he gets that.
no,
Yeah.
when we spoke on the phone the other day.
I just wanted to come out and make sure that everybody saw what I was,
Well, I spoke
my
to Marvin.
vision. Yeah.
I spoke to you a couple of days ago. He was on his way where? somewhere up north, and he's staying at the Jack tonight. So, I mean, he's
Yes.
getting the full
Yep.
Avon Park effect tonight.
Welcome.
So, and you got to stay at a really long meeting, so.
No, I loved it. I was enjoying it because like I said, back in Miami, when we have our meetings, I was like, hey, but at least there was no fighting like we have over there.
No, it's incredibly impressive. I mean, if you can fly in Miami airspace, you can probably fly anywhere, you know, frankly. And I really hope that works out. If we can get our details worked out and find a way forward, then I would certainly love to.
Now, question. It's very important. Obviously, I'm not saying that this needs to be rushed because that was one of the things that he said. This is kind of like the last minute thing. In order for me to start telling you guys, hey, listen, we have a show going on in this airport. I made a couple of videos when I was out there with her, and I showed it to just a few people, and they were like, "Oh man, that's nice." So the idea of getting a date on saying, Marvin, yes, it's a go or it's a no go. How does this work?
So we'll have to have it on an agenda, and we'll have to have your actual approval packet in front of us, in order to do that, but event application, yeah. Which, did he already fill one out? So all of that's done, ready to go? So basically, we just. Right. So chances are staff will have to get some more information from you. Let them make their mind up how they'd like to handle it. If they can work out all the details with you, give something to us, present to us, then hopefully we can make a decision within, 2 or 3 meetings, which would be basically a month to 6 weeks, something like that. Hopefully we can give you a definite answer of yes or no.
Okay, yeah, perfect. If it's us that does it, then I would say we need an agreement, not just an application. But we wouldn't go to agreement unless it's feasible to do it.
Right. So once you guys figure out feasibility, obviously talk to Jerry, see if we can come up with an agreement if we get to that point. If we do, council will see it, council will vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. Is there anything else for the good of the city? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Seeing no opposition, we are adjourned.